Well, to kick this off, I wanted to. I listened to your episode with Sean Ryan.
Sure. Okay.
And I got a couple of questions from it. And so the first question I had was, I remember you saying that we don't try, we do. Of course, my first thought was Yoda, but my second thought was, how would you recommend someone, like, how do you identify whether you're trying or doing, and how do you make sure that you're not hesitating and that you're actually stepping out and doing?
Right. So a part of that do is putting in the effort behind the do. Because I believe trying is knowing you're not giving your all seriously, in my opinion. You're just trying it. You know, you're not really doing it. So, like, for example, I use my son all the time as an example. But my son, we practice often, you know, with baseball, boxing, or whatever he's doing. No matter what we do, you know, we're going to do it. We're going to do our best. So no matter what sports he's playing, you know, I make sure to watch if he's giving 100%. And so when he's, you know, out there and I see him, you know, throw or hit, and he's like maybe being lackadaisical or something, like, hey, you just trying, bro. You got to do this or whatever. I'm like, you asked to do this, you have to do it, and you have to keep your word. And keeping your word is also doing your best. And what you're doing right now is not your best, you know. So I'm like, you have to do it. I think you watched the video that we put up about that. But he, you know, we tell him all the time, we don't try, we do. And in order to do, you have to do work behind it. You have to put effort behind it. Because if you can't do it right now, then you're just trying. For example, if I want to clean, you know, 500 pounds or something like that, if you can't do it yet, you're simply just trying. In order to do it, you have to put the work in behind it. And I think a lot of us miss that. Some people don't want to do the work. They just want to do things. They want the Hot Pocket to come immediately out the microwave and just eat it immediately. But sometimes you need a fully cooked meal, and it's going to take time to be able to eat. You're not going to be able to eat anything if you haven't cooked it, you haven't, you know, seasoned it, you haven't, you know, processed it correctly. Those are things you have to do in order to do something. But just trying is not going to be good enough. Even if you're having fun, even if you are, you know, you feel like you've done enough, if it's something you wanted to do and you didn't do it, ask yourself why. And usually it's going to be because you didn't put the effort all the way in. And to be honest, you know, people are like, oh, I'm trying my best. You know you weren't trying your best, because most people who are trying their best, we feel like we're not doing enough. So if you have to say you tried your best, I feel like you didn't try your best, because if you did, it would simply just show. You wouldn't even have to say that you're trying your best. Like, I never say that I'm trying my best. I have no need to, because I always feel like I could be doing better every single time. And once you get to that area of complacency and feeling like, you know, you've done it or I've made it, etc., that's when you start losing yourself and you end up trying again.
Yeah. Would you say that's a character trait, or was that built?
I would say it's both. It's character and building character, because character doesn't come from anywhere. You know, most men, you know, great men especially, have been built in some type of way, whether that been through life hardship, through fathers, through a bad upbringing, or whatever. Most, you know, rich guys I know, etc., all have had hard stories. So that's something that I believe is built, but also can be a character trait as well. I've used my sons again for an example, like William. I don't have to teach William any fire. When he goes boxing, when he does baseball, he already is just in the zone. Like, he wants to kill it. He wants to do his best. That's just in him. I don't know what it is, but it's just in him. He feels like he has a point to prove, I guess. But it's just in him. But my older son, you know, I have to pull the work ethic out of him. I have to show him something to make him feel it, to make him want to, you know, press harder. I'll have to show him some other kids, you know, that are younger than him, that are exceeded, and he's like, okay, they can't be better than me. He has to lose a game. We lost our first baseball game yesterday. He had never lost a baseball game. This is his first loss yesterday, but he felt it. And so that's like bringing that different, what I call that dog out, you know, and he's like, all right, we not losing again. We going home. We finna go practice. We about to go. Dad, can we go hit some, you know, baseballs in the garage, whatever? Like, we can't lose, you know, we don't want to lose or whatever. So, you know, it's something that has to be built, you know, for some people. And to be honest, I think it does come in some people, because like I said, my middle son, he has the work ethic like of a stallion. He will ask me over and over again, Dad, can I go hit? Can I go practice boxing? Can I go get the jump rope so I can jump rope? Like, he ask and just ask and just ask. Versus my oldest son, you know, he'll practice, you know, but he's not gonna ask to practice like, you know, my middle son will. He'll do his best, but he won't really just give it unless I, you know, get on to him or something like that. And these are things he asks to do, and he does want to do them, but I tell them everything that you do, you want to give 100%. I don't care if you're flipping burgers, you are reading a book, ABCs, playing baseball, doing boxing. Do your best. And I know a lot of times people are like, oh, just make sure the kids are having fun. Well, the most fun is in winning, because yesterday we lost a baseball game and none of my kids were having fun. They were upset because they lost. The fun was in the winning, but it requires work also. And so people want to have fun. People want to be praised. It's fun to be praised. It's fun for the high fives. It's fun to say we won the game. It's not fun for them to say they lost. It's not fun for them to say they lost. And so for people like, oh, well, just make sure they have fun. They're not having fun when they're losing. Yep. You let me know when you're having fun when you're losing. Nobody is. Nobody's satisfied with that. Same thing if I were to be getting on them for school. Most people wouldn't be saying anything bad about that. But the same thing. Make sure you're reading correctly. Make sure you're doing your ABCs, et cetera, et cetera.
You want to do more to impact the world around you, but between work, family, and everything else on your plate, finding the time or even knowing where to start feels impossible. You give when you can, you serve when life allows, but deep down you wonder, is it enough? At 1334 Media, we believe your generosity doesn't have to be complicated. From planting churches in Thailand, helping orphanages in India, and even serving alongside our partners locally in South Georgia, every dollar you give helps another nonprofit tell their story, connect with supporters, and make a real impact. Your support fuels life-changing media and training that brings hope, awareness, and resources to causes that matter. These stories can't make a difference if they aren't heard. Join us today, because doing more doesn't have to mean doing it alone. There's a popular idea: hard times create strong men create good times create weak men. Do you think we're in a period of weakness? And how would you push back against it?
So let me get the paper, because I want to say that. I want to say it because I hear it often. I don't remember off the top of my head. But hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. And I mean, the phrase itself is self-explanatory in my opinion, because it's true. And so it's hard for me right now because my sons are not going to grow up like, in the hood or have no poverty or nothing like that. I do well for myself, but I'm going to make sure my sons have everything they need. However, it is still my job to provide hardship for them. You have to give them hardship, not doing everything for them, not never fussing at them or not raising your voice or anything like that. It's important to give them hardship. For example, yesterday, I had a situation with one of my baseball players, and I got on to him, and some people may not have liked how I got on to him, but at the end of the day, we're coaching a teachable child. He's going to end up having to be coachable, and if you never allow anybody to get on to him, you never raise your voice, you never give him consequences, no matter how good this child is at whatever sport, if he cannot be coached, it is never going to work. And sometimes coaches will get on to you. You will mess something up. They will yell. They will curse you out, etc. But you have to be able to eat that, and keep moving. So, the biggest thing for me right now in creating hardship for my sons is utilizing sports to do it, utilizing school to do it, even teachable moments around the house, giving them consequences for the things they do. Not only just consequences, what we're doing is, for example, for Christmas. My sons for Christmas, they get toys, they get what they ask for, but they're not allowed to just play with them whenever they want. You have to do something for it. Dad, can I go play with my toys? Sure. Go to the gym and go hit a couple balls, or give me some push-ups or something. You're going to give me something for everything. Nothing's free. And my oldest son, he'll tell you all the time what I say. Fun is not free. Fun is earned. Fun is not free. It's not just... Nothing's just going to be fun. Any type of fun, any type of happiness you want, you're going to want to work for it. And I don't teach fun. I teach the children to be proud of themselves. We're not working for things to make us happy or working for things to just have fun. We're working for things to make us proud of ourselves. Yeah. Because if I'm proud of myself, I'm happy. I'm not just happy for no reason. I'm happy when I'm able to take care of business, when I'm able to accomplish some goals, etc. So it's important that if you just only create good times for your kids, like, oh, I don't want my kids to go through anything. Okay, cool. Then we'll wonder why they become nothing, or or fall by the wayside. You have to give them hardship. For example, the ball boys, those two NFL players, siblings who are in the league, etc. I watch old videos of their fathers training them. They up on holidays, etc., and their parents are recording this stuff. Growing up, we do the same thing, but as they're growing up, you're wondering why they made it to the league or made it here or made it there, because their parents pushed them. I always say, heard this quote, there are no lazy kids, there are only lazy parents. Because you don't want to push yourself to push your kids. Because sometimes, I feel like, me and the kids could be practicing more, but those would be the days that I'm tired a little bit, we'll practice tomorrow or something like that. But I'm like, no, like, I can't do that, because what I'm doing is showing them that it's okay to not do something. If I've already created a routine, and I know we get up every morning at 6:30, they asked to get up with me. They started seeing me get up in the morning. They'll hear me in there playing the music in the gym. They'll want to come on their own. They're like, Dad, can you wake us up in the morning to come to the gym? They're watching what you're showing them. So all those mornings where I decide to just stay in the bed, you don't think they're remembering that? Oh, Dad stayed in the bed. Okay, cool. I can stay in the bed sometime. No, we can't. We got stuff to do. We have to take care of our families. I always tell my kids, I ask them a question. I'm like, why does Daddy work? So we can eat. Exactly. Food doesn't just get here on the table. Yep. It doesn't just show up. Somebody has to do something for it. So that's why, make them earn everything. Even the shoes they wanted for Christmas. Cool. You can't wear them unless you do some work. You want to practice today? Cool. No shoes tomorrow. Like, those are your consequences. So you have to work. It's very important. And I tell them that and using sports to create that hardship for them, because I don't want to create just all good times for them, and then they'll have no idea how to maneuver through life. They've never been punched in the face before. They've never had, and I'm not physically, but like mentally being punched in the face. So when life happens, they understand that they can move through it. They can get through it. Oh, we've had this before. When my son becomes, a high school player or whatever like that, he's probably gonna be the most coachable kid, because I've already did all the fussing. I've already did all the making him work for it. I've done all that. The coaches yelling at him is gonna be nothing. Bro's gonna be like, okay, cool, thanks. Appreciate it, coach, or whatever like that. And he's gonna keep moving. Yeah. Versus kids who, no, just only have fun. Never fuss at him. Don't yell at my child. Don't do this. Cool. He's not gonna be coachable. There are plenty of children, and and adults too, that are in the NBA or the NFL. There's 100% chance that most people know someone who is better than an NFL player and better than an NBA player. But what was the difference? Most of it was just coaching. Mm-hmm. It was simple coaching. Because I knew players that I played with that's in the NFL. I knew players better than them. I know players I can find now that are better than NBA players. But where they missed it was attitude, coaching, not having family support, etc. That's where they'll miss the mark. And so that's not what I want to have for my sons. I want to create the hardship for them while also allowing them to have fun and enjoying life. I make sure they reap the benefits of their working too. So like my son, for example, asked to go to Los Angeles for his birthday. Bless his heart. He asked to go to Los Angeles. And I said, okay, cool. But we went there, but I also surprised him, with wrestling tickets to go, see wrestling. We went to the Lakers game while we were there. And he had a great time. But asked my son, what did we do while we were in Los Angeles? We found the closest baseball facility. We went to go practice while we were there. I said, hey, we got to go. We're going to go watch wrestling. But what we going to do before we do that? He going to say, we're going to put in some work. Absolutely. We're not, because fun ain't free. We're going to go do something for it. So we spent 2 hours at the baseball facility practicing, hitting, fielding, or whatever like that. And then now we go have fun, so it's never just fun for free. We went 2 days in a row because we were there for a couple of days. We went to the baseball facility again. Hey, we're going to go to Universal Studios while we're here. But what are we going to do before we go to Universal? We're going to go work every time. So I'm instilling that already. He knows that fun is just not something you go and have. It's something you earn. And that's what people are missing with their children because I believe you're only giving a child fun is only hurting them in the end. But that's why, mothers and fathers are different.
Yeah. And I think you gave me 2 quotes I thought of. One is Jocko's discipline equals freedom, because it is exactly what you're talking about. The only way to have true freedom is if you're disciplined.
Absolutely.
And then also I read a book by Greg Everett. He's an Olympic lifting coach called Tough. And in it he talks about the core principles that he says are like what he believes creates someone that's tough.
Sure.
And one of them is competent. He said the only way to truly be confident is if you're competent. And I that really resonated with me personally, and I really thought about that when you were talking about, like, you have to put in the work in order to know that you're proud.
Absolutely.
To have true pride and be proud of something, you have to already have put in the work. In order to be truly confident, you have to know that you are competent in every area.
Yeah, discipline is probably 99% of, well, I won't say 99, maybe 90% of most people's issues. Yeah, there are things that happen that may be out of your control, etc. But 90% of your life, 90% of the things that happen are truly due to what your decisions are. And sometimes we'll get lost in the sauce of social media, lost in the sauce of news media, etc., and feeling like the things that are happening aren't your fault. Nobody on TV or nobody on social media is stopping you from getting up and going to the gym, or not even going to the gym, and doing some at-home workouts. You know your body doesn't look like you want it to do. You know your body isn't how you want it to look. So who's stopping you from doing that? Nobody's stopping you from doing that. Nobody's stopping you from stopping to help teach your son how to read. Nobody's stopping you from making sure your child is doing his schoolwork at school. Nobody's stopping you from learning more information about that business that you want to open. But some people are, content with being, regular, and just living the American pie life. But they know they want to be better, but they don't want to have the discipline to do those extra things. 'Cause I tell people all the time, I and Elon have the same 24 hours in a day, and it's what I decide to do with those 24 hours. So those days I don't feel like getting up, for a fact when you're laying in that bed and you should be getting up and you don't. That's on you. That's not nobody's fault. There's nobody's stopping you from getting up. You're just deciding not to get up, and that's okay. You just don't have any discipline. Admit that, and that's okay. Yeah. And all of us fail in those areas sometime, but most people who succeed are those people who don't allow them not feeling like doing something to stop them from doing it anyway. And that's what makes a man is we got to do stuff when we don't feel like it. I don't feel like getting up every day. I don't feel like going to work every day. I don't feel like getting up to make sure the kids get some food. I don't feel like doing that stuff all the time, but we have to do it anyway because we have business to take care of. We have things we want to do. Yeah. I have goals to accomplish. So people who don't have any goals, no purpose, etc., it's easy to become, undisciplined. But those things you want to see happen, whether it becoming famous or, becoming whatever you want to be, a doctor, lawyer, whatever, only thing that's stopping you is true discipline. And people will make you feel like you're incapable of having a discipline to become better, whether that be because of the color of your skin or some political ideologies or whatever like that.
Where you come from,
it don't matter. And I'm from Albany, Georgia, and we were able to make something happen and from the ideas that I had in my head, and I just kept working at it. I'm not saying just all hard work is going to get you where you want to go, but you also want to stay in the mind frame. Okay, well, maybe I'm trying my hardest right now, but I'm not getting where I want to go. So maybe there's something that you don't know. So sometimes we'll get this ego about us thinking we know everything or I've done enough, etc. You've never done enough and you don't know everything. I used to be there at 2021. I thought I knew it all. I thought nobody could tell me nothing. I had all the solutions to fix Albany. I had all the solutions for everybody and every single thing that was going on in the world. Nobody could tell me anything. But some people never grow past there. People 30, 40 years old still think they have all the answers. Yep. Everything around them still the same, but because their ego's too big to admit that they were wrong or that they should be thinking a little bit differently, or they should have just changed their mind, especially in regard to the city of Albany and other communities. I think other communities could be in better places if people would admit, okay, maybe I didn't have the best idea, or maybe I could have changed my thought process. I think if we could mature and grow there, I believe the discipline will come. The discipline will come when we get to a point where we decide to admit that we were wrong. And I think a lot of people miss that because our egos are too big. Our egos get too big, and we don't want to say, I'm undisciplined. I don't want to go. It's easy to point the finger at something else or somebody else. And that's kind of where we get the undisciplined actions from.
Yeah. And I think there's two sides too. Like, you have some people that literally don't want more. They wanted to get this job and they wanted to do this, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. Like, you have some people that they're super comfortable where they are, and that's okay, but you can't make excuses why you're not somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Either admit you love where you are or change something.
Every time. I talk about the serenity prayer all the time. I got a serenity prayer tattooed on my right arm. But it's very important. It's really just saying, those things you can change them. If you can't change it, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people miss that so much. But it's, again, easy to blame other outside circumstances. It's easy to blame other people, etc., and we'll lose ourselves blaming everyone except ourselves. And once you take a second to say, okay, this is my fault. My son isn't reading because of me, not because of my school system. It's because of me. My grandmother doesn't have the best care that she could get because of me. I could be doing something better. Even if you feel like it wasn't your fault, make it your fault anyway. And I believe that, some things that I make my fault, I can end up fixing it. And I like setting goals. You know, like you mentioned, some people are fine being regular, and that's cool. But don't say that you want to be better and
Yeah.
you know that you're fine being regular.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Everybody ain't meant to go change the world. Everybody ain't meant to have this ultimate big giant purpose or a big charge to keep. I understand that. But when people are succeeding and doing better, that doesn't give you room to say, oh, they think they're better than everybody, or they think they got all the answers, etc. Or maybe you just enjoy being regular. And that's okay, but don't shun other people who don't just want to live the American pie life and go on 2 vacations, you know, once a year and work 9 to 5. Everybody's goal isn't that. Some people want to be better. And so when people have better ideas and come up with different things, it isn't your job to go and try and shun those people. Maybe you should join them if you know that's where you kind of truly want to be.
Yeah.
Because everybody will say they fine with their lifestyle and they're fine with how they live. No, you're not, because every time you see somebody that's more successful than you, you have a problem with it. So that goes to show that you aren't really comfortable with where you are. You really want to be better, but you lack the discipline. So it's easy to just talk about them or blame outside circumstances as to why you decided not to make a decision.
Yeah, so in 2017, I met a guy that was running an orphanage in India. And I said, hey, man, I just started shooting photos and video. Could I come shoot content for you? Because at this time, he was just using his phone and flying over to the U.S. and, you know, raising money that way. He said, yeah, come on. And so I spent over a year, like, saving money, raising the money, just by working, like picking up odd jobs and doing whatever it took
Right.
To get the passport, save the money for the expensive ticket, and all that kind of stuff. And it's just because I wanted it.
Right.
And I just got back from Thailand last year and made the best documentary I've ever made. It's because I wanted it. It has nothing. I'm from Albany, Georgia. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of stuff can happen inside of a small town.
Yep.
If you really want it.
Yeah.
If you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to get a little less sleep, skip some fast food, willing to do whatever it takes to actually achieve those goals. But it makes me think about work ethic itself. How would you personally define work ethic?
Work ethic for me, I guess, is summed up in a question, I guess. Is what you want, you know, more important than where you are right now?
That's good.
You know, and that's work ethic. Like, again, it's all in those decisions you're deciding to make. Like you were just saying, you know, skipping fast food, you know, a couple times, getting a little less sleep, getting up a little earlier. You know, is it truly what you want? Seriously? I mean, the information is there for whatever you want to do. The information is there, especially in this day and age. The information is there. Social media is there, etc. Do you really want it, or are you enjoying looking like you want it? Because I know a lot of people who will pretend that they're doing good because they are looking like they're trying to make it. I'm like, you could be doing a way more. Like, especially the people in my circle, you know, anybody in my circle, I push everybody. I don't care who it is. My videographers, my staff, myself, my mom, my kids. I do not care. If I see that you BSing around, I'm going to say it. And they're like, oh, no, I'm not. I'm doing work and none of that. No, you're not. You could be doing a whole lot more. You could be getting up on time. You could be doing a little bit more. And I push everybody in my circle like that because I know that they could do better. They don't always like it. They don't always like that I'm trying to push them to do more or whatever like that. Even me, because people are like, oh, King Randall's doing all this fantastic stuff. Bro, I feel like I could still be doing more. Because sometimes I still won't, you know, get up on time, or some days I'm like, I don't feel like shooting this content today, or I don't feel like, you know, doing this today or helping this person out, whatever. But I could be doing more. And everybody's like, oh, King Randall's just doing all this great stuff. But to me, I'm like, man, I could be doing a whole lot more. This is nothing. I'm like, I feel like, you know, I'm being lackadaisical. I feel like I could be doing a whole lot more. And so I do everybody in my circle like that because I'm like, listen, we could have a lot more work ethic, especially after I got back from Nigeria. When I got back from Nigeria, that kind of changed my mind frame a lot because I watched these children with nothing outwork most adults that I know. These children don't have sewage. They don't have, you know, clean, fresh water all the time. They don't have food to eat all the time. You know, no electricity in their homes, etc. And they are more well-read, more articulate, more work ethic than I've ever seen in my life. And you know what their dreams are? To come places like where we live. What we think is poverty ain't nothing compared to what I saw with my own eyes over there, because the commercials do it no justice, man. The pictures, no justice. Videos, no, even the videos and stuff we shot, no justice. You have to see this stuff with your eyes to like really be like, wow. So I came back like kind of in a daze because for one, I was like just registering that I was home. But to see those kids over there working their butts off, just trying to get here.
Yep.
And we're here and making complaints every single day. We're here making complaints about what we can't do, and we don't want to do this, and this person's stopping me from this, and this person doesn't even interact with you. There's no way that this person's stopping you from getting up. Same thing you mentioned about, working every day. I grew up in Albany, same way you did. And with the Extra Boys program, I had the idea and I wanted it. So my brother and I, we would go paint houses and fix cars. I learned how to cut hair. I did all this stuff off of YouTube because I knew I wanted to fund the program when I had nobody, backing it. I had no financial backing, etc. No people giving, nobody donating. I had to want it. So that's what I did. I was going to these different places where these celebrities were, trying to talk to them about my program. They would ignore me or whatever. Didn't care. I would still keep posting. I would still share what I was doing. I would keep going, to different places, trying to network with people. I was doing networking events in Atlanta. Like, I'm just trying to make it work. I'm like, somebody's going to hear about this and somebody's going to love it. Lo and behold, it happened or whatever. And even then, I didn't get complacent. I'm like, okay, cool. Somebody's seen us, but we could still be bigger. We could still do more. I could still be better. I could grow more. I could make more relationships for our students. I could make more relationships for my kids. So that way I could, make room for them. Anthony Mackie said something the other day and people, were upset about it, but he was saying that success is given. But I wanted a caveat to that. Opportunity is given and success is earned. But opportunity is given because of who you know. It is about who you know sometimes. It is about who you rub elbows with. So it's important for me as a father right now to build relationships for my son. So when they get older, they can go shake hands and go make room elsewhere. I need my students that are in the Extra Boys program to say, hey, I was in the Extra Boys program and that opened doors for them or whatever. So that's very important as a man. Like, how can I build people around me? Like, people need to be able to hear your name and move for those people in your circle. That's very important to me. So yes, I'm going to create opportunities for my sons, especially using the network that I have. Like, my son's already got like deals with boxing and all this stuff like that because of the doors I was able to open for him. So yeah, he might make it to some professional boxing league, maybe even baseball league or whatever like that. And it don't even just have to be because of his how he's playing, but because of his dad opening doors for him, he can make it somewhere he needs to be. And the same thing, work ethic for my grandsons. So I'm teaching them, now they're watching me, dad, not even paying attention, but they're watching me, dad. So when they go, dad, I know for a fact the grandsons are going to be just like that. And I'm going to be in their lives too. So it's very important, to push those around you with work ethic. Work ethic is very important, to me, to my staff, to my family. And when I see people around me not working, we got to do something. Same thing I'll tell my staff. If they see me not doing something, I don't want nobody. I tell my staff all the time, I didn't really want to say nothing about this. No. No, if you see me BSing, say something to me. I will not get mad at you. No, like, nah, all right, King, you could have did better with that. I don't care. I'm not one of those head guys that you can't say nothing to. No, if you see me doing something I ain't got no business, if you see me BSing around or I could be working harder, say something to me. I do not mind it, because sometimes you'll need somebody around you to say something. For those people that have people around you and they try to help you be better and you get mad at them for telling you that, you could be doing better or you could be doing more, they shouldn't be in your circle. You shouldn't have anybody around you that doesn't want to push you. I don't want to be the best person in my circle all the time. And if I am the best person in my circle, those around me should be able to push me and I should be able to push them. That's what I believe in regard to work ethic. I mean, it's the driving force of life. And that's truly everybody's condition for the most part is up to you. It's up to decisions you decide to make. Sure, that could be, other circumstances, growing up in foster care or, having a mental disability, etc. But after a while, this stuff becomes your fault. And once you believe that it's your fault, truthfully, you could actually move forward.
Yeah. And for me, so I went to ministry school and then I was working at one point I had 5 jobs, but usually about 3 jobs for about 2 or 3 years. So I was doing about 4 different things and I thought I had work ethic. It wasn't until I came back from Thailand and my wife was pregnant when I went and she gave birth to our daughter soon after I came back. So I had 2 kids, a full-time job, and then still I'm running 1334 and trying to edit this documentary. And I still spent 20 to 30 hours a week working on it. And I didn't realize until near the end of the documentary, one, how much I grew from doing it, not just skill-wise, but like time management.
Sure.
Because I didn't miss out on time with my kids. I didn't miss out on time with my wife. I just didn't sleep much.
Right.
Running on Christ and caffeine, that's it.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I submitted it to a film festival that I was like, I was capable of a whole lot more, and I didn't realize it until just now.
Yep.
And I feel like it really helped. Like, the only person that saw that was my wife.
Yeah.
She's the only one that saw me up till 2 or 3 in the morning and then back up again early the next morning. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's really important to have those close relationships, whether it be a wife or a really close friend or a brother or someone that is able to share in the victories that no one else sees.
Man, it's important, again, having those people around you to help push you, and not even just push you, but to see what you're trying to do, because it is cool to have somebody be proud of you sometime.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need it, but
Especially when you're proud of yourself.
Yeah, every now and then you want somebody to give you a pat on the back. People going to act like they don't need anybody's approval, but you want it sometime. You don't necessarily need it, but you do want people around you to clap for you sometime and clap for you, in honesty. But believing that you're capable of more is what's going to push people forward.
Yep.
When you start feeling like you've done your best, when you feel like you've made it or whatever, I tell people at this young age now, I'm 25 now, I'm like, listen, I'm working now. So when I do turn 42, 43, 44, I can just go be like a baseball granddad or, just go help my kids out, whatever they got going on, or, help them with their lives. I'm working now so I can play later. People want to play now and then work later when their back start hurting. Absolutely not. I'm not doing that. While I'm full of energy, while I got all this, testosterone kicking and whatever like that, I'm trying to do as much as I can. So they're like, oh, you got your hands in everything. Absolutely, because I have the energy for it. I have all the energy. So when I get older, you won't catch me trying to do all this stuff because I've already built the foundation to where I could relax.
Yeah.
So it's very important now to work. And with this new thing of, young people now think they've missed out on life when turning 30. I'm like, dude, you ain't even in your prime yet until you turn like 33, 34. These are your building years, like 20s, the 20s and early 30s. You got plenty of time, and you haven't like missed out on life because you turned 30 or you don't have kids yet and you haven't gotten married yet. Stop with this timeline of what everybody else has going on. Everybody's life is completely different. I understand people have families and they want to, impress their families or, get these timelines out of the way for this traditional thinking. But when you're on a different trajectory, things happen differently for you. Again, if you don't have a regular life, if you have a different purpose, things will happen differently.
Yeah.
And it won't seem the same as everybody else. Everybody else doesn't live the same life as you. But again, when you have a major purpose, your life looks different. It doesn't look like everybody else's. You don't wake up at the same time as everybody else does. You don't have the same ideas. Sometimes I'll sit down, I'm like, man, how did this idea was crazy. Or my staff like, how you even come up with that? I don't know, man. I was dreaming and it came to me. Sometimes it just happens like that. But everybody, has a role to play. But as long as you have, people playing their roles correctly and doing their best with it, everything will flow, especially when you have a team.
Yeah.
So it's very important, to me, to have those people around you that will say, hey, I feel like you could be doing a little better. Or, hey, you've been doing a great job lately. Or, hey, I see what you're trying to do and I want to help you do it. It's very important to have those people around you. So your spouses, your friends, your children, those people are going to be very important. And to those people who don't have that, man, it is what it is. Again, is what you want more important than where you are right now? And that's what I ask, so sometimes it is going to be staying up late. It's going to be, letting go of some friends. I've had to do the same thing. I've had best friends for my whole life. And then things happen and we got to let them go, and life happens. And we keep pushing and we keep moving. Every time somebody says something is hard or life's happening, good. Every time something bad's happening is because something good's about to happen, in my opinion. So usually when life's at me or when I'm having a bad time or a bad couple of weeks, I'm like, okay, something great's about to happen.
Yeah.
Not sure what it is, but it's about to be. And if you keep that same outlook, you'll push through those things. Like when those things are happening, I'm like, okay, something good's about to happen. I'm going to keep pushing forward. I'm upset right now. I'm just going to sit down, watch a little TV, get myself together, and keep moving because I know something good is about to happen. But bad times are important. Bad times help you. Bad times build you. If you don't have any bad times, you're not progressing. You're going to be stable. Bad times are happening for those people who are growing. You don't think Elon has a bad days, probably 29 days out of the month, just to have those 2 great days where you feel amazing? That's the best feeling ever versus feeling great every day, but you're not really feeling great. You're stagnant and pretending you're feeling great, and then being jealous of everybody else who's actually being great.
Yeah. So C.S. Lewis said, integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is watching. Mm-hmm. So how do you personally instill integrity into the boys?
That's exactly what I teach them. Literally, I was like, what is character? Who you are when nobody's looking. Character, integrity, it's interchangeable. Yeah. But I'm like, what is character? Who you are when nobody's looking. So I tell my son that all the time. my son has this thing, and this is why I believe in a village, because the village can help train character, especially in boys.
Yeah.
My son, he has this thing where when I'm around, he'll put out. He's going hard, going crazy, whatever he's doing, sports, school, whatever. If I'm not around, he has this thing where he'll just go 80, 70%. And so I had to tell his boxing coach the other day. I said, hey, coach, I said, listen to me. I sent him this long message. I said, listen to me. You don't have to sit there and keep being nice to him. You don't have to keep telling him good job every time he does something. You don't have to keep. No. If you see he not putting out, especially when I'm not around, you get on his behind. You make him do push-ups. You make him do whatever you need to do in that gym to make sure he's putting out, because I'm not always going to be there. And he has to understand that no matter where you are, you have to be doing your best. No matter who's not watching, because for right now, for a kid, who you are when your parents are not looking is character. So it's very important for them to be doing good at school and also allowing people to discipline them. I've run into this new thing now where dads don't want you to say nothing to their kid, or moms don't want you to, get on to them. I'm like, so, well, how exactly do you want me to help you with your child if I can't say anything to them? I said before, my son's gymnastic coaches, boxing coach, baseball coach, I do not care. If he's doing something stupid within the bounds of good taste, get on his behind or whatever. And I do not care. I don't mind at all. I'm not the only adult that's going to be in his life. He needs to understand that coaching is going to happen. And you need to be doing your best around everyone. You need to listen to adults that I've approved for you to be around. So you treat them with the same respect as you do with me. And people have this thing where, the teacher can't tell my child what to do, and the teacher can't tell my child this, and the coach can't he better not talk to my child like this or that. Well, that's not real life. And I'm sorry, if you putting your kid on somebody's team, 90% of the time the coaches just want them to be better.
Yeah.
And they can be better. If they see that child not putting out, especially these seasoned coaches, you either going to ruin your son because that coach don't want him on the team no more because he can't say nothing to him, or you're going to ruin, his reputation because you won't allow him to be coached. So I don't care how good this child is. This child could be the greatest player ever, but if coaches can't coach him, might as well, kiss the deuces goodbye or whatever. And that's what's going to happen. So you ruined your child because you don't want anybody to say nothing to him. I absolutely disagree. Integrity and character is built also through the village. You have to teach your children to respect everyone and also to give their all, especially when you're not looking.
I think a lot of men have the problem where they are one way at work, they're one way at home, they're one way with a certain group of friends, and they're one way with their wife's friends. You know what I mean? And I think making sure that a kid at a young age knows that, hey, other people are looking at you is a really good way to start that foundation of being like, hey, you need to make sure you're the same person when you're with someone else, when you're by yourself, when you're with so-and-so, when you're with your mom, and when you're with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's a really good way to start that at a young age, because I feel like a lot of guys don't even realize they do that.
Yeah.
Grown men. Man,
I tell people, I say this all the time, kids listen to what you say, but they're really listening to what you're showing them.
Yeah.
And they watch everything you do, no matter what. They truthfully watch every single thing that you're doing. And it's important that you try to operate in a way that like your kids are always watching. And so kids will internalize some of the things that you're doing, and they'll start doing it. And sometimes people want to wait to start raising their kids when they start doing bad things. And I'm like, no, you want to start raising your child at 1 year old. Stuff stops being cute when they turn 1. Like, they are starting to understand right from wrong already. They know you told them to put something down. They know you said no. And they are understanding those things. After 1 year old, it's time to start disciplining, and no matter how it is, but you start getting onto them early. If a child has never experienced discipline, etc., you're going to ruin them. And it's very important to discipline your children. And I think teaching them to be the same person regardless is teaching them about character. And that's a part of discipline also. You have to reiterate, hey, your teacher is an extension of me, and you're going to treat them with respect also. Yeah. And if you disrespect that teacher at school, then there are going to be consequences, when you get home. So it would behoove you to act like you got some sense at school. Same thing at baseball practice. Your baseball coach, I have approved to coach you, so he's going to say things like I'm going to say, and I'm going to let him coach you, and I'm going to sit here and I'm not going to say anything because you better put out. And I'm probably going to echo what he's saying. Not saying don't listen to your children if they're having an actual grievance, but you know your kid. You know when he's BSing. I know when my son's playing with me. Come on, bro. Stop playing, whatever. Or I can see when he's putting out. I just can see when he's putting out. If I see that he's really, trying his best, I don't get on to him like that. I'm like, hey, okay, let's try it again. But if I see, hey, he's not throwing the ball like he usually would, he's not hitting his hardest, I'm like, son, what are we doing? Like, I guess we playing games. We're not playing today, son. Do it. Like, do it right. Give me some intensity or whatever. He gives the intensity. I lay off. Easy work. You know, you need to put out every single time. Same thing with doing math or reading or whatever. Bro, what are we doing? We playing games right now? Oh, we doing what we supposed to be doing. And I'll ask him to tell me if he's doing the right thing because it's accountability. For example, people have seen the video of my son hitting the ball off the tee, and he's like, that's a thumbs down because I made a mistake and hit the tee a little bit. I'm making him be accountable for his own actions. He knows when he did something wrong. He knows when he's done something wrong. So I make him say it. Did you just lie? Yeah. Why did we lie? Because I didn't want to do X, Y, Z. Okay, cool. We know we have consequences for that, right? Cool. So he understands that lying has consequences. He understands that not giving intensity will cause you to lose your game. It will cause you to lose things that you really want. It'll cause you to not be where you want to be. So teaching those things early, people may not like it right now, but when he turns 14, 15, they're going to talk about how his character and how, stand up he is, etc. Well, that's because I spent all those times, getting on to him about those little small things that you may not see, but I see it all the time. It's my son, and I believe, he's going to be the best at whatever he does. I tell him we're not just going to do anything. We're going to try to be the best at it. And if we're going to get on a baseball field and find somebody that's the best, and we're going to try to match that. Yeah. And if we feel like we're the best out here, then maybe we need to move up because we don't ever just want to be the best out there. We want to find somebody that's better than us and keep growing every single time. And if we have become the best, then we're in the Hall of Fame now. But other than that, it's always going to be somebody better than you. And so that's what I do for my son. I'll show him videos of other little baseball kids who are doing better than him, other little kids who are boxing better than him, and he takes it to heart. He's just like, okay, I don't like that. Let me get in here and practice or whatever. That's the competitiveness, of having a little boy. Yeah. They don't want anybody better than them. They don't want to lose. They want to win and be the best at everything. But when I show you that you're not the best, he internalized it. Okay, I need to be hitting a little better. I need to be hitting a little harder. So that's what he's doing.
I feel like a lot of it ends up having to do with effort. It has a lot to do with the effort you're putting in and whether or not you can actually be proud of it. Mm-hmm. Like, let's say you ran a 5K and maybe you did it in 30 minutes. Like, okay, that's a slow 5K, but you did all right. Mm-hmm. But you're not proud of the effort because you're like, you feel fine when you get done.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like a lot of it ends up, especially with kids, like you got to teach them, like, it's about your effort. Like, lose all you want. That's totally fine.
Right.
If you put in the effort.
Did you do your best? Yep.
If you did your best and you're proud of it, then who cares if you lost? Mm-hmm. You can learn from your any and all failures. Mm-hmm. It just depends on whether or not you did your best. Mm-hmm. Oh, you got all C's? Who cares? Did you try your best? Yep. If you tried your best and got all C's, great. If you didn't try at all and you still got B's, okay, do better and get your A's. Mm-hmm. If you it's all about the effort you're putting into whatever the situation is.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's funny because again, nobody likes losing, and doing your best. Sometimes you got a cap up there because you hadn't learned something or you hadn't learned more information, and so for right now, your best isn't what could be your best. Your best right now is right here because you hadn't taken the time to unscrew the top on the bottle. Because we're capable of a lot more than we think, and sometimes we will get complacent with where we are, and we're like, okay, I did my best. Yeah, but somebody's better than me, bruh. Like, he's human just like I am. There's no way I can't get there too. Yeah. So even though this was my best, I can get better than my best. And my son, we talk all the time about effort. And anytime he starts sweating real bad, he like, oh yeah, Dad, we put in that work. I'm like, yeah, we put in that work in today. Yep. Even if it's cold, he starts sweating. He like, oh yeah, we put in that work. I know you're giving effort. When you're not out here sweating for real, and you really not, just I don't hear the grunts and I don't hear the I don't hear the effort. I'm like, son, you putting out? He's like, nah. I'm like, yeah, you probably want to put out, dude. Like, we're not finna play games. I'm not out here wasting my time. Get out here and put some work in, son. Yeah. So we can get ready to go. Because we won't leave until you do something consecutively. Like, for example, he catching his balls on second base. He has to do it 5 in a row. If he misses one, we add another catch. He ready to go home. You go out there and catch the balls. It ain't got to do with me. Catch your balls. It's not my fault. It is your fault. Catch the balls and we can go.
Yeah.
So he knows he got to put his best effort in to catch the balls. But I'll still count it if I see that he really tried to do it. And so I don't tell him that, but because he's just like, oh, I'm gonna just put on the effort. No. You got to give the effort seriously, because that's how you're gonna grow, as a human being. Effort is probably, again, 90% of our problems. We'll pretend that we're giving effort or look like we're doing the effort, because I can, look like I'm doing it. 90% of work is looking like you're working, so I'm like, I can just look like I'm trying to do it and then not actually be trying to do it. I'm going to say I want to do this, but I don't really want to do it. I just want to look like I'm trying. For example, the city of Albany, I say it all the time. Everybody wants to look like they're trying to fix Albany. The city commission and the county, they just want to look like they're doing something. Hey, we're going to get this park building. We're going to get this done in this building. We're going to make this look nice, and all this icing, that you're just going to put over a cake that's not finished. All this icing, whatever. And everybody has these ideas about, oh, yeah, I want to fix it. I want to fix it. They want to look like they're fixing it. But are we actually fixing it? Are we truly putting all the ingredients in the cake? No, we're not. You're not. Or whatever. But because nobody sees the inside of the cake, everybody just sees the outside. Oh, look, we got this park built. Okay, cool. But are the kids' mindsets changing? Well, I can throw up something. I can throw 30,000 basketball courts in the city of Albany. Are the kids actually changing? No. I don't care how many things. We could put 10 Dave & Buster's and 30 Chuck E. Cheese's and 10 movie theaters and all that. The kids' mindsets still need changing. What character building programs are we developing? Can we spend millions of dollars on actual mindset building for these children? Because again, we could put all this stuff and bring all these businesses and whatever, all this fun for the kids, but if their mindsets aren't changed, we're going to still continue having the same issues. Yeah. Ask the skating rink when they were here. What were they having issues with? The kids in there acting a fool. Again, at the movie theater, what are the police in there doing? Putting kids out all the time. It's not about giving them something to do. We just built a new park over at Driscoll. Ask me what's going to happen while they're over there. They're going to continue putting kids out because the kids' mindsets aren't changed. I put a basketball court over there in Holly Holmes area where, where our building is. We put a basketball court out there. They tore the glass, they broke the glass on the basketball courts, etc. They messed everything up out there because their mindsets need changing. They need fixing in their minds, not just giving them something to do. They're just going to go tear things up where they are. Yep. They need mindset changing. So again, what can we do to stop pretending that we're doing something and just putting icing over a cake that's not finished? How can we truly work on that? Because we can't put it off on Doherty County School System. I'm watching Doherty County School System give every single thing and every resource to all these children. It isn't the school system's job to be making sure they got dental and vision and going to the doctor. That's not their job. Why isn't the city partnering with the Doherty County School System to help these kids that also live in the city of Albany? You're putting millions of dollars all these places. Put it into the children that need the assistance. Put it into the people that need the assistance. Not only that, it's like, oh, let's bring livable wage jobs. Yeah, let's do that. But let's also work on the mindsets of the people that live here. These will come with classes, counselors, therapy, etc. That's what the city needs. We're an impoverished community, like truly in poverty. So what can we do to stop doing piecemeal things and actually make some actual change to develop that effort that we've been discussing?
So if you were to fast forward 50 years, what do you want the legacy of the X for Boys and the New Life School to be?
The legacy for the program, I want people to see that our children have touched, every place all over the world. And my goal for the X for Boys is to make sure that the kids in Albany understand that it's important for you to put back into Albany. That's what I believe in. We have too many celebrities and too many players who went to the NFL, etc., who act like Albany doesn't exist. And I don't like that. Yeah. Because these children, you make them feel like, again, that nothing's possible in Albany. You haven't come back. You may come back for the Super Bowl. You may win that and then disappear again. Where are the programs? Where are the clinics? Where are they just showing up and coming to talk to the kids? Because they look up to you guys. They look up to the NFL players with the Rolls Royces and all this jazz. Where are you? Why do y'all have nonprofits in other areas and not in your hometown? You grew up here too. Yeah. So the idea is to just leave it like it is. I don't respect that. I don't like it. I don't like when you don't claim the city of Albany. We got players from the Albany that's claiming Lee County or claiming somewhere else. Yep. No, you're from Albany. I played football with you too. Why can't you claim your city? This is where you grew up at. This is where the children needed the most. We needed it in the impoverished communities. So I ain't saying we got to, watch what people doing, but I don't respect that. So I don't want to be one of those people that made it to all these, big podcasts and big, wherever I've been to the White House and this and that, and then not I can't come back home. No,
Yeah.
I'm home every week. I'm volunteering at the small nonprofits. I'm at my mom and pop restaurants all the time. You know, I frequent the same places I've been frequenting since I was a kid. I'm always outside. I'm at Walmart. I'm at Publix. I'm at Target. People see me outside, so I make myself just like y'all. I put my pants on just like everybody else does here. I'm from Albany, just like you. You know, so I want people to see that something good is possible from the city of Albany.
Yeah.
That's what I want people to see. So kids have, you know, seen me and like, oh man, that's Mr. King. I was in Walmart. That's Mr. King Randall. I see he online. You know, I see him on YouTube. I follow him, and that makes them feel good because I don't walk around here not claiming Albany.
Yeah.
I continuously do stuff for the city of Albany. I help so many people in the city of Albany without putting them on social media and things like that. It's very important for you to remain in the community. So when I talk about the legacy of the Extra Boys, I want to see what the kids who have been touched by the Extra Boys do for the city of Albany.
Yeah.
I want them to go make your relationships outside of the city of Albany and then come back. The overarching vision for the Extra Boys is to develop 300 men for the city of Albany to help fix it. That's the main goal. So that's what my legacy, you know, for the Extra Boys is, and my own legacy is what you see my kids doing. That's how I'll know what kind of man I was. Aside from the Extra Boys, aside from whatever else you see me doing, if my children don't become successful, great young men, then I have been a failure as a man, period. And I mean all of them. I'm not talking about, you know, you have 3 good kids and then one of them falls off. No, all of them should be fantastic in each of their different ways. And if I fail one, I fail them all. It's very important to teach them about leadership, teach them to take care of their families, and teach them to take care of their city. I don't expect my children to leave because I will instill in them now that your charge also is the city of Albany. Because I can't, if I die or something happens, we got to make sure the city, you know, stays where it is. And then also be inspiration for other cities. So yeah, we can go partner, we can go other places, we can go shake hands elsewhere, but our goal remains here in the city of Albany for where our children have to grow up. Because right now the population's declining, etc. I want to give Albany something to be excited about again. Yeah. We want to give Albany something to feel like there's hope here again. Because again, you know, we mentioned in the voter turnout for Ward 6. When's the last time we saw anybody just made people excited? When's the last time we saw something happening that just made everybody just like, oh yeah, this is it. We can get behind this. You haven't seen it in years. We haven't seen it here. Where are the people that makes you want to get up and go do something? They non-existent. So of course they sensationalize the presidential race, and yeah, people will come out and vote for that. We had less than 500 people come vote for Ward 6. Why? When's the last time you saw somebody running that you believed in? Yep. And that's not a shade to any of the people that were running, etc. And I applaud them for running or whatever, but there's no excitement for these elections anymore at all. Because they keep seeing the same thing no matter who decides to come and run. It's the same old thing. You're going to have to show these people who you are. We can't just talk about it, especially if you hadn't been around these people already. If you hadn't been around them, you just another politician like everybody else who's coming in here to say they're going to fix Albany. Yep. You get in office and we don't see you again until election time. Yep. That's what happens. But they don't see anybody they've already been seeing around the community. They don't see people they already know in the community. So it's also trying to encourage those young people. Hey, go run for office, man. Well, that's something that we got to create in the Extra Boys. When these kids turn 18, 19, 20, 21, when they start maneuvering in the city, you don't think I'm going to tell them, hey, you should go run for office, man. I think you got some great ideas. Let's coach you up and get you mentored up to run. We shouldn't have these politicians been sitting in offices before y'all was born or before I was born. Why are you still in office? Let's go work with them and help them mentor you to get to a new place so we can modernize the antiquated city of Albany. Yeah. That's what we have to work on. Albany is antiquated. I've brought so many people in from many different places all over the world to Albany. People don't even know I brought some of the biggest people here to Albany. And when I ride them around, they like, man, this got potential all day. Yep. Albany is potential incorporated. That's what I call it. Albany has so much potential, but if it isn't realized, you know, it's doing us no good. And it has to be people in office, you know, and in positions to say, okay, I see the vision too. So how can we make this happen? And that's only going to happen with people who have relationships too. Yeah. Because we have no relationships outside of the city of Albany. Then what are we doing? Why aren't we partnering with the mayor of Atlanta or the mayor of Miami or the mayor of Montgomery? And like, okay, what are you guys doing? How can we help each other out to help some things for our city? Why don't we? Why is everything so antiquated? Why don't we have a City of Albany app? Why don't we have all these different things that the other cities are having? Or why aren't we updating our infrastructure in regard to city logos, etc.? Like downtown, all this stuff it could be done. And again, it's cool to talk about, and they'll say these little piecemeal things to you know, move the conversation. But it's not actually happening because nobody knows how to put pressure. Nobody knows how to actually, you know, not necessarily protest, but don't know how to advocate for the things that they truly want to see here. But people don't know who to call. People don't know their commissioners. People don't even know who the mayor is. People don't know. The other day when somebody thought Dorothy Hubbard was still the mayor. That was the mayor 2 elections ago or whatever, but they don't know because nobody's active on marketing in the city of Albany. Nobody knows what's going on. And so morale is also so low because people don't feel like anybody around here is doing their jobs. Yep. And it's not that that's the case. It's that the marketing here, I don't know who's paying for marketing, but I promise you, whoever you're paying in the city of Albany right now is doing a terrible job at marketing because you haven't asked them for any metrics. You haven't asked them how many people are seeing these posts. How many people we contacted about what's going on. I think it's not necessarily done on purpose, but to a point, I think they're fine with people not knowing because if people knew what was actually going on, they'd be at the meetings. They'd be calling you. They'd be asking. So I think it also aids the people who are in office that nobody actually knows what's going on or who to call in Albany because if they did, they'd be calling. They'd be knowing what's going on. And so they take advantage of people not being politically aware of who to call or what to do. And they continue making all these bad decisions. And people are like, oh, what's happening? What's going on? It's your local politicians. It's the boards that you're not joining. It's the boards that, you know, are making these decisions. So it's up to us to try and educate people on what's going on in the city of Albany and how we can get those things fixed. So the legacy for the Extra Boys and myself, all that comes into play. All that I'm thinking about because I'm nowhere near, you know, where I want to be. I have a foot down, you know, with the Extra Boys, and I'm like, okay, cool. Let me get an operations manager now because I need to go fight for these kids on the government side now. I've joined boards. I've got civically engaged. So now I'm understanding that so many different decisions are being made that are, you know, they're happening to our kids. It's decisions that are being made in the city of Albany government that are affecting our kids directly. And so now that I've, you know, been inside the Doherty County school system and taking their classes and seeing what's actually happening, I'm like, okay, there's another side of this that people are missing. And I don't think the city of Albany government is truly thinking about the crisis that our children are in, and they think the solving the problem is building a new park on the bad side of town. No, absolutely not. That is a piecemeal operation to just look like you're doing something and to spend this extra money that we've gotten. Yeah. Absolutely not. We need true programs to help our kids here in the city of Albany, and until we do that, city of Albany is going to continue on a decline.
Yep. Well, thank you very much for your time. I do have one last question.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
What are your top 3 favorite restaurants in Albany?
Restaurants. Let's start. You gonna get me in trouble. I can't even do that. Okay, I'm gonna say some restaurants names, but I'm not gonna say them in order. Okay. So I didn't do it. I'm saying them out of order. I love the Fire Grill. Fire Grill is one of my top places I take people to whenever I come. When I bring people out of town, I bring them to the Fire Grill. Austin's Fire Grill to eat the catfish fingers. Okay. JC's wings. Whenever I have guests that want some good wings, I'm like, you ain't had nothing like Lick Your Top lip sauce. Yep. I love Dunbar's soul food restaurant. Okay. I've been eating them since I was a kid. Yeah. After Sunday church or whatever, we'll ride there and go get food. Let's see, JC's Fire Grill. I love the Bread House. Bread House is fantastic. It's usually so cool looking too. It's nice, but usually most of the executive people are having meetings at the Bread House in Albany. Yeah. It's funny because most people hadn't heard of the Bread House. It's kind of like not your place to hear about, you know, because most of the people there, you'll see all the commissioners there, the firefighters, etc. Like all the bigger wigs in Albany go, you know, eat at the Bread House and, you know, have talks at the Bread House. But yeah, the Bread House, Dunbar's, Fire Grill, JC's Wings. I mean, I eat many different places in Albany, man.
You didn't say Cookie Shop.
The Cookie Shop.
I
eat at the Cookie Shop.
Didn't we eat at the Cookie Shop together?
Yeah, I think we ate at the Cookie Shop. I usually get the chicken salad sandwich there, and I get like bacon added to it. But yeah, I love the cookies from Cookie Shop. That's one of my top faves in Albany. But man, I got a couple of mom and pop shops I've mentioned before nationally. They probably don't even know it, but I've mentioned these restaurants because I bring people to them all the time. Yeah. When people fly into Albany to come check us out, I'm like, I got a couple of mom and pop restaurants I want to take y'all to, and I think y'all will enjoy it. But JC's Wings are always a hit. Fire Grill is always a hit. Those are usually my top 2. I mean, I like Longhorn.
Albany has good food.
Albany has great food, man. And I think it would be cool for me to do some reviews. I think that'd be cool for people to see. But yeah, those are some good spots in Albany, man. Those are some of my favorites. I'm trying to.
El Caribe, you been there?
El Caribe. Yep. That's me and my son. That was one of our little places to go after school. After school, we go there and go get fruit every single time. So Manny is a great friend of mine.
Manny's awesome.
Yeah, Mikasa, love him to death. We got good food here, man. And I'm sorry
do.
if I ain't mentioning anybody. He just put me on the spot. But yeah, Mikasa, El Caribe.
You mentioned restaurants, and then I remembered you mentioned it on the Sean Ryan show, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, is he gonna name? Is he gonna name anybody? Is he gonna?"
I mentioned the Fire Grill on Sean Ryan show.
Yep.
I did mention the Fire Grill. I can't remember if I mentioned anybody else, but even when I was in Nigeria, I actually mentioned some of our local shops. To there, because I was saying if we ever get you guys to come to the city or come to the States, I'm gonna take you out to some of our restaurants, because they did this whole thing showing us some of their cultures of their food that they eat, and I'm like, okay, cool. I got something for y'all, when y'all get here or whatever. So, but yeah, I'm excited about it. But I love the restaurants here in Albany.
So much of culture is tied to food.
It is. I think we missed that too. Culture is tied to food in an immense way. People eat differently, even just around the corner.
Yep.
From Albany to Atlanta is different food culture up there. Atlanta to Nashville to Cleveland. I mean, everybody eats differently everywhere. LA, they don't even know what sweet tea is out there, man. I went out there for the first time with my students in San Diego, and they was like, hey, we get a sweet tea. They brought him some tea with some sugar. Like, they was like, what is sweet? We don't do that here. Like, we just drink tea. I'm like, y'all don't got sweet tea? Like, it's just little stuff. Or the different words we say, vernacular, all of it's different. So yeah, it's different cultures even in the States. Like, all the States got a different culture. Different parts of the state got a different culture. So I love sharing Albany's culture, man. Albany's a beautiful place. I truly enjoy it, man. I don't have anything bad to say about Albany, like, at all, because I see the people that are trying to do work. So my goal lately has been trying to help people figure out how to best market what it is that they're doing here in the city of Albany, because I'm just like, if you guys don't do the marketing, it's never going to succeed. You have to do the marketing. If you get $20,000, spend $19,000 of it on the marketing. You have to show people what's going on here.
And part of the reason I started this podcast was, like, I say the main reason is it's to equip, connect, and inspire other nonprofits. Part of the reason I had you on here is to inspire other people to do what you're doing. But I think when I was looking at the numbers, Albany itself has like 140 registered 501c3 nonprofits, which is kind of insane considering we have only got like 60,000 people that live here.
Right.
And so I was like, what better way to showcase as many as I possibly can than bring them on the podcast and actually interview them about why they do what they do.
Right.
And I feel like this long form conversation is just such an easy way to really pick somebody's brain about their why.
Yeah, long form conversation is always going to get it, because you're going to start opening up when you're having these conversations. And again, these conversations are important because people need to know what's going on. And, for me, the other day after the Sean Ryan show, we got a lot of buzz in the city of Albany about it, because I was mentioning some of our local businesses, etc. I even mentioned Combos. I've had a conversation with Eminem Mars after the show about that. But I'm enjoying sharing what's happening with the platform that I've been able to build here in the city of Albany. And I made a video the other day and said, hey, if we got local podcasts, I don't want to miss those, because I'm just like, no, I want to join my local podcast. We can do some collab posts, because the videos are going to do well. All we got to do is just, make a collab post and let's do it. That brings attention to your brands, etc. from the following that I have. They're like, hey, I found you, through King Randall. I'm following you now or whatever. So it's very important to leverage those relationships and pass the peas. I'm all about passing the peas, man, and sharing what everybody's doing. So I booked like 8 or 9 local podcasts. I've been on a few already. This guy won't stop walking by, but that's the game. That's the game. But yeah, I'm enjoying it, man. I'm so excited about the other podcasts I'm about to do also. Sweet. And I didn't know they were even existed.
Yeah,
so
I didn't know we had this many.
Yeah, I booked like 8 or 9 podcasts already. Some college kids, Corey Holman. I knew
awesome.
I love Corey. I mentioned him before. But yeah, Corey's podcast. I did a podcast yesterday with my guy. His name is I think it's Anderson, but his podcast is Snooty Lounge. What's his name? Say it again. Rodney. Yeah, Rodney Washington. Yeah, Rodney Washington. Did a podcast with him yesterday, man, on Snooty Lounge. Great time with him, but didn't know they existed. Yeah. Same thing with this college kid I'm about to do a podcast with Thursday. So excited to meet him. And, he had all his friends tag his page on my platform. So just love doing that, because I remember when I was just trying to get on somebody's show or just trying to, make something happen on social, just trying to make it to 1,000 followers, for God's sake, just trying to get there. So I have no problem, helping out, bringing my cameras if I need to make your podcast look better or whatever. I don't care, man. I just want to help whoever's here in the city of Albany make things work and share the information that I've gained over the past few years and still staying right here in Albany.
Yeah. Well, I greatly appreciate it, dude.
Man, I thank you for having me again.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the 1334 Media Podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I just want to remind you that everything we do as 1334 is because of donors like you. So thank you for your support.